Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so excited to have you here today, and before we get started, be sure that you've signed up for my free newsletter listed down below at CorinneBlackstone.com. I don't send out tons of spam. You get a newsletter every once in a while that usually will give you some inside information on things that are coming, some great sales, and things like that. Now in today's video, this is something that I absolutely love doing and realize I've never done a video on it for you guys. I'm going to show you how you can sublimate on a colored shirt and then have a really cool design and bleach just the design and not have like a big bleach spot like I see on a lot of shirts. I know a lot of people don't love that look, and so if you're not somebody who likes to have that kind of messy bleached look, this is a way you can do it without making that messy look, but still use bleach to make your sublimation image appear with the correct colors and appear brighter. This is a super simple project and I promise you, you can do it. All you'll need is a sublimation print, and then I use the Gildan Softstyle Heather colored shirts. And this, I forget the exact name of it, but it's kind of one of their tealy colors. You're going to need a reusable cup or like a plastic cup. I'm going to use like a red Solo cup. You'll need some paint brushes and of course a sublimation image to press onto your shirt. Now what's great about these are 65% polyester and 35% cotton, meaning that they're able to be bleached. You cannot bleach a full polyester shirt. The cotton fabric is actually what's bleaching, not the polyester, but the polyester is the fabric that's holding the image down. I'm gonna show you how easy this is to do. We're gonna print out our image, I'll show you how to press it, and then I'm gonna show you exactly how I do my bleaching technique. So let's go ahead and get started. Whatever we would do, we do it just for fun. What's great about sublimation is that you can use pretty much any file that you want to, as long as you can print it. So I want to use some stickers that I got from Design Bundles because they have some really cute designs that I think will be perfect for summer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this bestseller sticker bundle, which I will link below for you. I'm going to click download files, and you'll see that they're kind of all broken down into the different style files that they have. Now I want to use the mermaid cats, so I'm going to click on that, and it's going to open up a folder to ask me where I would like to save it. I'm going to save it into my CRICUT folder and then into the subfolder of print then cut, and click save. Now it's important to note that when you download files, you need to extract them. So once your file is downloaded, go ahead and open that zipped folder. That zip folder should have a little thing at the top that says extract and an option to extract all. All you simply have to do is click extract all and then click extract, and it's going to take all those files and unzip them and make them so that you can actually use them within your program that you want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and let's open up our sticker bundle so that you can see kind of everything that's included. So what we have here are different files. You've got a CRICUT silhouette version, which is basically just the stickers all laid out for you. You have a hand cut version, which is, again, the stickers laid out. But this is the one we want. We want the individual stickers, and we're going to make sure that we're using a PNG. Now, they had a really, really fun one that I thought would be so cute for summer, and I thought just this one with the sunglasses is precious. She's so cute. Now, I'm going to be using Inkscape to print this, but you can print this really with any program, but I find that Inkscape for me works the best, and it's a completely free program that you can download at inkscape.org. Inkscape is a great free program that you can use for lots of things, but for this, it's really easy because it's just printing. You don't have to cut it, you don't have to do anything, but this program I think works really well, and it's pretty easy to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to go to File, and I want to go to Document Properties, because I want to make sure that this is set to US letter, which is the size of my sublimation paper. The next thing I'm going to do is open up the folder that had the images in it. And you can simply drag and drop the image. Now I want to make sure that I'm using my PNG image, so I'm going to go ahead and just drag it and drop it over. Now for here, you don't need to change anything at all, just click OK. I do leave it on, like you can tell it, don't ask again, but for tutorials, I always just leave it on so that it's not confusing if you get that box that comes up. And now you'll see that we have our cat. Now what you want to do is, of course, size this so that it's going to fit on your shirt that you're making. So with Inkscape, it's important that you hold control. And I'll show you, if I don't hold control on my keyboard, look what I can do to this thing. I can change its scale. I can make it all funny looking. Now, obviously, we don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click Edit and Undo. and you want to hold control on your keyboard and then make your design as large as you can. Now you're going to notice that there's a white edge right here. That's because this sticker does have an offset, but because we're not going to use that offset for any reason, we can expand this so that that offset goes over the edges of your paper. That's just something to keep in mind that you can do because that offset isn't going to print anyways. It doesn't matter. It's white. Any white areas are going to be transparent, meaning they will not print at all because sublimation does not have white ink. Now that I've got my cat sized and I'm pretty happy with that, what I need to do now is decide if I want to mirror it. Because there's no words, it doesn't matter. So if you want it to face this way, that's fine. If you want to face the other way, also fine. So if you want to mirror it, you can do one of two things. You can either use the flip options, which are up here at the top, just like they are in Design Space, and we can just flip it and change the direction that it's facing. Or we can go to File and do it in our print settings. So let's go ahead and show you how to do it in the print settings. That's the way that a lot of people like to do it. I prefer to flip it in Inkscape, but it's really up to you. So make sure that you have the correct printer selected. I went to File and Print, and then I'm going to choose my ST4000. That is my sublimation printer. I'm going to go to Preferences, and I'm going to make sure that certain settings are changed. So one thing is I always double check my paper size, which is letter. And then I want to go here under paper type, and I find that using Premium Presentation Paper Matte works really well. And then I want to change my quality from standard to high, making sure that color is selected. And then I want to go under More Options. Under More Options, I want to turn off this high speed print. That's what causes your print to have those lines through it. And then it may also be read as bidirectional printing, depending on what printer you're using. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to click Mirror Image. That is basically flipping your design so that it prints the correct way for sublimation. Because remember, with sublimation, the design does need to be mirrored or flipped. From here, all I have to do now is just click OK and click Print. The shirt we're using for this is a Gildan soft style shirt, and this is in a heather color. It's important to use a heather color for this because those are 35% cotton and 65% polyester, meaning that you can, in fact, bleach them. Now, what we want to do is first put some butcher paper inside of our shirt. The reason that you're going to put butcher paper inside the shirt is to protect the image from bleeding through onto the back. I have forgotten the butcher paper before, and it ruins the shirt because you have like a ghosted image of your design on the back of your shirt, and it's pretty awkward looking. So I'm going to take my butcher paper, and I'm going to just slide it inside of my shirt. Now mine isn't a big roll, but it'll unroll once I put it inside. This is like the end of the roll, so it's a pretty rolly piece of butcher paper. But all you want to do is just make sure that that butcher paper is behind where your design is going to go. I'm just going to fluff it out a little bit and get it to lay flat. I've got a little curl down here, so we'll just kind of press that down. And we're just going to kind of adjust, make sure that it's under where our design's going to be. And then you just want to flatten your shirt back out. Make sure there's no like big wrinkles under it, because that's going to be a little bit harder for you to get it lined up correctly if there are. So I'm just going to kind of pull my sleeves out. I like to have my sleeves out so I can kind of see a little bit better where my center is. And then I've got my design, and what I like to do is I'm going to fold it in half. And I've got this pretty well centered on the page, so I'm just going to center the page, and I'm just going to put a teeny tiny crease right at the top. That's going to help me know where the center of my image is. You're going to want some heat tape for this, and this is my fun little heat tape dispenser. I will link this down below. I love this dispenser. And now we're going to flip our image so that the image is down. And I want to center the image, so I want to center the paper onto the shirt, and I like to just use my hands. And then you want the design to be about 3 fingers below the collar, so I'm just moving it up a little bit just to get the tip of that ear that I can see through the paper up towards the collar, and then I'm just going to use my hands to kind of center it. Now, most people will use like a t-shirt ruler. I'm not good with the ruler. I actually do a lot better when I use my hands, just to kind of make sure everything looks good and centered. That's still good. I just like to double check it before I fully tape it down. Now, you don't need a lot of tape. I just tape in each corner, and that allows that paper to sit flat to the shirt. Now you're going to want another piece of butcher paper. This is to protect your press from getting any of the ink from the shirt on it. because it will bleed through the paper as well. And because this is so curly, I will use 2 more pieces of heat tape just to hold this down, because this is like I said, end of the roll, so it's so curled. So I will just kind of lay it down, and then I will just take a piece of tape on each end, and that just helps it lay flat. You don't have to do that, but for me, I just find it works really well, and it's better than trying to sit here and uncurl it a bunch. It helps if you actually get the tape onto the paper. But there we go. So we're good to go. Now we're going to press this at 400 degrees for 60 seconds. I get asked a lot about what heat press I use, so I thought I would just show you a little bit. So this is the StarCraft Mint Clamshell Heat Press. I will link this down below. It is out of stock a lot, but there is also a refurbished version as well. I've had this for over 3 years, and it's fantastic. I also keep a Teflon sheet magnetized to my press. That way I never forget it. It's just one of those little tips, tricks, hacks that I use that really is such a time saver. Now I've set this to 400 degrees for 60 seconds. We're at like a medium to firm pressure, and we're gonna go ahead and press our sublimation design onto our shirt. Our press is ready to open, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna pull the butcher paper off and show you what I mean by why we put butcher paper on there. Can you see the image? That's why you put butcher paper on. I'm gonna go ahead and take the paper off as well. I take mine off hot. I just find that that works best for me. You do what works for you. I did have a little piece of gunk right there. I think that's just a piece of adhesive vinyl. I can get it off once the shirt cools. But we're gonna let this cool, and then we'll go outside on a nice warm sunny day, and we're going to paint this so that it looks really nice and bright. Now we're on to the fun part. What I'm gonna do is pour some bleach into just a regular old plastic cup. You can use whatever you have, but use regular bleach. Splashless bleach is really not great for this. And what I'm doing is I'm just using a general old paintbrush, doesn't matter, it's the paintbrush I use for bleach, and I am just brushing it on to my design, keeping all of that bleach inside the design. Now you don't want to saturate this. You're using pretty light layer of bleach. The wetter you make it, the more likely it is to bleed outside of your lines. Now I am going to let you guys watch this in real time change color in the part where I bleached, because I wanted you to see how quickly it really does process. As you watch, you'll see right where that one eye is with the sunglasses, it's getting whiter, it's getting lighter. This bleached pretty quickly. It processes really nicely on these heather color shirts because these are 65% polyester and 35% cotton. So it is bleaching the cotton fibers, not the polyester. I left this in the sun for about 10 minutes total once I finished painting everything. And I'm going to speed this part up because it's all the same. I just painted it all. I used a little bit of a smaller brush with the tiny bubbles because it was just, they're really small. And I just put like a dot of bleach on them. But you can see all I'm doing is going through and just painting it just like I would if it was like a paint by numbers or something. You just want to keep that bleach inside the lines. That's the most important part. Then after you're done with this and you've let it process, I let this process for about 10 minutes in the sun, you want to rinse it fully with just cold water. You don't have to use any peroxide or anything like that, just a nice rinse, and then just wash your shirt like you would normally. I wash on cold water, and then you can dry it like you normally would as well. These shirts don't shrink or anything, and they're so soft. They're such a comfortable shirt. This is the Gildan Softstyle 640 heather colored shirts, and I think these work fantastic for this. Now, one step that I didn't show you because it's kind of the same thing is I want you, when you're done bleaching and once it's processed, I let this process in the sun for about 10 minutes and it did really well, but it was also a very warm day. The cooler the day, the less sun, the longer that this will need to be outside to process in order to get these really, really nice colors. I then bring it in and I rinse it under cold water for about 2 or 3 minutes just to make sure that all the bleach has rinsed out. A lot of people will tell you that you need to use peroxide. I have never once used peroxide and have never, ever had a problem. I just rinse it with cool water and then I put it directly in the washing machine. I wash it as I would any other design, any other shirt. I now personally use cold water only, and I do wash this just on the normal cycle. I don't do anything different to it. These last forever. I get a lot of questions about, well, doesn't the bleach lessen the life of the fabric? And it doesn't. I have had shirts that I've done this way, and I've used them millions of times. I've probably washed them hundreds of times, and they're still absolutely perfect. This shirt came out super duper cute, and this technique is super easy, and it's a really fun one, especially to do with like older kids. Now, I will recommend that if you're doing this, just make sure that you're aware of the dangers of bleach. I don't wear gloves when doing this technique because I don't go anywhere near the bleach with my hands, but if you're doing this with kids, I would highly recommend wearing some gloves before going ahead and doing this. But this is a really easy project, and you can see how gorgeous the colors came out. They're super bright, super pink. Now, I did miss a little spot, but I actually think it works out because it shows you the difference in the color from where I bleached it versus where I didn't bleach it. So you can see that it's very green right here, but it came out beautiful and yellow. Now, I did have a little spot that did bleed, but honestly, it's on the bubble and nobody's going to notice it. Just take your time, use the light layers of bleach, and you'll have a gorgeous design just like this when you're all done. If you have any questions about this, by all means, please let me know in those comments down below. And let me know if you're somebody who loves to bleach your shirts or not. I absolutely adore it. I think it's really, really fun. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And as always, happy crafting.